episode 65. This is Lego, and I've got with me Hove and Triton and returning now Resolute guest, MrTomFoolery, aka Marcus, aka Tom the Full Man Taylor. Thank you for joining us, Marcus.
Wait, were they in Rezo last time they were on? I know Wilson has been on since, but
yeah, Wilson's been on since.
Well, you're welcome.
Oh, thanks. This is what got me there. I heard you guys submitted my interview tape, and this was like, yeah, all right, we'll give him a shot.
Yeah, that was actually your interview was the podcast that one time, so yeah.
Yeah, because if you would have been dicks, I would have told them you were a dick.
So I didn't have to take my clothes off for Claw and Tinks and Monk.
Just Claw.
Yeah,
Just Claw.
That.
You know, they told me it was necessary, all right? I'm sorry.
So how's it going, man? How's your week been?
Week's been good. This is my last week of work and then Christmas break, so
sweet.
Super excited for that. But yeah, just, you know, being a bum, playing video games when I get home, making fun of Hove. It's a typical week.
That's the life, man. That's my life.
That was life.
Yeah. Well, I've been enjoying The Dawning quite a bit. Just dropped, and I'm pretty pumped to talk about all of that stuff.
Me too.
Actually, a lot of people online playing Destiny right now, which is a great feeling.
We had over a page.
Do what?
We had over a page yesterday of Rezo people.
Yeah.
Feels good. And all the, like, I've been enjoying, I feel like playing a variety of guns right now, so I'm excited to talk about a lot of that too. I had a good trials run this weekend. That was fun. Hove, how's your week been, man?
It's been the best.
Oh, the best.
Other than work. Work was really shitty lately because Christmas is coming. So let me tell you a quick story today. So I woke up today and I use like my old phone almost as like a tablet. Like there's no SIM card, but I just use the Wi-Fi to like play with stuff when I don't want to waste the battery on my like current phone. And then when I go to bed, I'll plug it in, let it charge, and I'll like listen to music. Well, I did that. And then I woke up this morning and I was like, wow, it's really bright outside. It's going to be a really nice day. What time is it? Oh, my phone's dead. Look at my clock. I woke up at 8:31 a.m. I'm supposed to be at work at 8 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
So that was bad.
That was fun.
But yeah, no, it wasn't that fun. So I bought all my employees pizza to just shut their mouths.
Oh, that's a good deal. I've had experiences sometimes before being in a band where we'll get to a gig and like literally starting sound check and be like, where's this one guy at? And he's like still sleeping. Like I'll call him like, hey, oh no. Like immediately it hits them as soon as they answer the phone, you know? It's just the worst.
Kind of like that time we were supposed to have Hovey on the podcast and he fell asleep.
Wait a minute, didn't you tweet out this week that like you didn't have anyone to do any of your work?
There's like I'm short like 5 employees. It doesn't matter. Anyway,
you know what? It's you that wasn't there.
Yeah, that's what covered it all up.
Anyway, but no, otherwise like gaming wise, apparently Marcus just got booted.
I know.
He has internet problems like
somebody jinxed him.
He has internet problems for like 10 minutes every night. We don't know why. So he'll probably be back. And Mana's having internet problems, but he'll probably be back. Anyway, my week. It's been great. First of all, Lego has a new nickname. It's Lego Lay Sack.
No.
So that makes me
happy. Have to blame for this? Dewey, right?
Dewey, yes. Other than that...
Hello?
Mana's back.
Mana on the podcast tonight. He's made it. As soon as Marcus dropped out, it was like he kicked him out.
It's like
Mana used up the internet that was left.
It's like Marcus is his like alter ego, and then Mana's like Superman. Like,
did he just get kicked?
Yeah, he just got kicked.
He got kicked that moment that you
all
joined.
These things keep happening. I was so excited to talk about my week, and I keep interrupting me.
You know, his spotlight. I'm doing it intentionally. If that makes you feel better, Hove.
Yeah, no. Anyway, no, I've been having I've played more. I haven't been this excited about playing D2 since probably it launched. I've been having a lot of fun. Like I've really been loving playing it, and I'll even explain today. PUBG came out, version 1.0, final official release. Right. It's great, but I stopped playing it to play Destiny.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah, it is big. That's what she said to me. A lot.
About Destiny. Yeah.
How many lies were just in that sentence?
So many lies. We also, just because I just want to say another good thing that happened, we were just discussing, we're on episode 65. And we decided that for episode 69, we're going to see if Gunga would like to come on.
Oh.
She's in chat, so I just want to throw that out there. But
Oh my god.
anyway, go ahead, Triton. I guess we'll let you speak.
Okay, well, my week hasn't been nearly as exciting as Hove's, not going to work, so that would be
I
or
went
getting
to work.
eventually. So, I mean, I want to resist. I put this in our RezoCast chat this week so that I would resist talking too much about the tax reform that went through, although I didn't put in the fact that Darden Restaurants is now up 30% on the year, or the fact that Steve Ritchie is now going to take over as CEO for Papa John's. So those things are huge. Those are actually huge things this week for me.
Lego, it's a really good thing that you told me
topics.
to not mute. Like, you scolded me for muting him before this happened because he would have been muted already.
Yeah. I
Okay,
know.
so those are actually good things for my week, and they've been
Man, you
I
have
guess,
no cam,
relatively
by the way.
decent
Yeah, I don't
discussion
understand
topics.
anything anymore.
Destiny wise, though, I finally got to play with a few people that had like been on my friends list for a while and had never gotten to play with them. So that was kind of cool. So I got, but that was Monday. So I did all of my like last minute weekly stuff on Monday before the Dawning came out. We get to play with some cool people, so that's always fun. And then actually, the Division grabbed my attention on Tuesday, so I haven't really been in the Dawning yet, but I've heard nothing but good things. So,
Dude, there's a lot of people that have been playing the Division lately. A lot of like big Destiny name people playing the Division too.
You know, Triton, you should probably keep playing that for a couple weeks. And if Tinks doesn't have you on her podcast, you should riot because we've had her on twice. And I'm just saying, Tinks, if you're out there, Triton would love to be on your podcast.
Well, Mana, how's your week been, man?
Oh hi. Well, I apparently lost my face. It's gone. It says it's there, but it's not.
I can't
but anyway,
feel my face when I'm with you, man.
talking about the Division, I actually.
Hey.
His face on just now. I did it.
How did you do that? Did you do that?
On my foot. I did. I saw it was muted, like the camera was off, and so I just clicked on it, and I was like, "Oh, there he is."
We're the most professional
How do I
podcast there
have
is.
control over his face cam, though. That doesn't make any sense.
What?
This shouldn't be
You
right.
have the power to turn on my own face cam?
I am truly podcast boss. I have become.
No, don't get.
Podcast.
I think Lego did that on purpose to a certain
think-
fact.
I did it. I didn't
just-
know.
He just wanted to make.
Wait, did you turn off my face cam? Did you guys like mute me or something?
No,
No.
I don't know.
I
Maybe-
muted your face.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I don't know.
I don't know. It's
Can
working.
we turn Hove off? Can Lego do that? Can we test that
Yeah,
out?
can
real
you guys
quick?
turn off
I'm
my-
sure I could, but for the sake of those listening on iTunes and whatnot, Mana, how's your week been?
Well, okay. Well, talking about the Division, I actually I haven't tried the Dawning yet, just because people talked me into trying out the Division. It was on sale, everything for $27. So I was like, I don't know, I'll attempt it again, and I've been doing that. I've been jumping back and forth between Fortnite and that, and a little bit of Assassin's Creed. And I almost forgot about the Dawning, but I heard everyone's really enjoying what was it?
Mayhem? Yeah, dude.
I heard it's a ton of fun though.
It's insane. But there's a lot of good stuff in the community going right now, like just gaming in general. Like there's just a lot, like, you know, Hove said PUBG 1 dropped today, and then
And it
we
feels
got the
so
Division.
good.
Yeah, it's just all these different things. The Dawning's
I
out
need to
right
try
now.
that
Destiny's feeling really good. So much so that it brought Hove out of PUBG, which is like impossible. So that's a big deal.
That's
But
impressive.
yeah, before we jump into all that stuff, Marcus, MrTomFoolery,
Marcus.
I want to catch up with you and see like where you're at with Destiny 2. We haven't had you on since Destiny 2 release. So what's your relationship with Destiny been like?
We're currently seeing other people.
Oh, okay. That's a good description.
No, I mean, an open relationship. So like I can see other video games and not have to. No, Destiny's good. I took a break from it, probably like 3 weeks or so. Just like I had no interest in doing it.
Mhm.
Like Curse of Osiris came out, and I did it. I played the game for like a week, completed the story on one character, and was like, I don't want to do this on another character.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know. Then the Dawning came out, and I was like, okay, now I'll actually grind and do stuff. Masterworks weapons are really dope.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If you can get them to drop.
I got the best
Apparently
Masterworks
struggle.
weapon ever.
I actually haven't gotten one yet either.
Really?
They don't have
Nah.
Masterworks in the Division, Triton. Wrong game.
I
Mayhem
played
never
Destiny multiple
tried yet.
times last week.
I have not played the Division since the update came out, but I'm like, I'll get back to that.
It's
Winter
fine.
break coming up means I will have lots of time to play lots of games that I want to play.
Yes.
But yeah, Destiny's a lot of fun. The raid lair, actually, tons of fun. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to have jumped into that. Didn't go in blind, but I was happy to kind of know the mechanics going into it.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely pulled me in a lot more than the original raid did.
Yeah. Interesting.
I don't know why. Even like the final boss encounter for the raid lair, so much more interesting and appealing than the original raid. So
Yeah.
that's been fun. I haven't played it a lot. I've only done it once or twice, but Destiny's been good. It's been nice to grind for things again. That's my whole thing. I like the appeal of that grind. It's why I play Borderlands as much as I do, because having stuff to go after is fun for me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I feel like there is a lot to grind for right now, not just masterworked weapons, but we also have, there's ornaments to grind for that we talked about a lot last week, and then now a lot of the dawning stuff, because there's stuff every day you can go grind for, and some of those take a really long time, the daily ones even. Some of them not so much, but it's enough that it's like, here is something to do, and you actually get really good stuff from it. Like from the dawning daily packages, you get like I got, I think, one of the Eververse ships from it, like the actual dawning ones and stuff like that.
There's ships, there's ghost shells, there's a sword you can get, and there's class item, and that stuff is just limited to those daily packages, which is cool. And you can hold as many as you can carry. So I mean, I have 3 on each of my characters right now that I plan on probably doing this weekend to get rid of them. Just kind of sucks that they only offer a small sample of a lot of the dawning stuff.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure how big the sample was of what you could get.
Like the class items and the sword are specific to the daily packages.
Okay.
So no, you won't get any of the other armor. And the ships, I think, don't cross. So like
nice.
The ships and packages are not the same as the ships that you can get from the dawning engrams.
Okay,
It's
cool.
still-
That's interesting.
The dawning is still a dirty money grab.
Is that that's the one thing I did want to talk about. There's no TWAB this week. We don't have any news, but I did want to get into the Eververse stuff eventually. I don't know if I want to have that conversation exactly right now, but that's something that I definitely want to get into. And then also I just wanted to hit on Marcus's talk about the raid layer just for 1 second, just because I keep thinking about that raid, and I feel like I had the same experience that you had with it. Like, because initially going into Callus's, like the throne room and stuff, I was like, this is like, it's really cool. Like, I don't want to downplay that raid. It's one of my favorites. I really like the mechanics in it, but visually and art wise, I really love the raid layer. Like, it feels very like Metroid-like almost. And like, there's one part in it that's even, I got big time Dead Space vibes from when you're like, flying down to the center part of it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so freaking cool. So just art-wise direction, I just love all that stuff so
I
much.
still need to get in there, man. Like, I've yet to even do anything.
The way
yet.
I'm describing it, Mana has it built up probably so big in his mind now that I've described it
seems
in all these
freaking
various
epic.
ways.
You're dragging all these like different game concepts in. I'm just like, what am I missing out on? I still have yet to see anything from it, so it's
Dude,
still.
I can't wait. I can't wait for you to see it, because just visually, it's something that's really, really cool. It's not like huge in the sense of like there's as much as a normal, but it feels like, you know, Crota, like small kind of raid size.
Space actually feels massive though. Like if you compare it to the Callus, the original raid, and like the areas that you go
My
to
doorbell's ringing.
seem pretty big, but the actual space for the raid layer, just because everything's so open and the skybox and everything is huge.
Yeah, I can't wait for Mana to try it out. Hove, you look
Hopefully
like you're
it
gonna
comes
say
back.
something.
I'm just laughing at Mana. Like, my doorbell's ringing, and then he made this ridiculous face, stared at the camera, and then just turned his camera off. It was really, really interesting.
He didn't know what to do. No one ever rings my doorbell. What the heck?
I don't even have a doorbell, so if my doorbell started ringing, we'd have an issue.
Okay, so let's talk about the dawning for a second. What do you guys think? We got Mayhem, we got the strike stuff.
Snowballs.
I haven't even do what? Snowballs. Yes, the ice effect. So
Yeah.
we talked about that. We were trying to guess what that was. last week, and it actually is like an effect from someone throwing a snowball and it getting on you. And we were like, oh, that'd be cool, but I don't think that's going to be the way it is. And it is. That's the way it is.
Yeah. I like it. Did you go? Isn't there ice hockey at the farm?
Yeah. Oh, there's ice hockey in the tower too.
Where?
It's
Hangar.
the hangar. Yeah.
Oh.
Behind Amanda.
Missing out on hockey?
Yeah. They even have the little glass barrier around the whole thing.
The glass.
Yeah. I don't watch hockey.
It's generally just called glass.
They just call it the glass.
It could be a barrier. I mean, that's kind of what it is. You know?
A little barrier, right?
But no, I mean the snowballs are really cool. I mean they're funny to just mess with people. You know it's really good when you go somewhere like at the tower and say there's a whole bunch of people crowded around Shax or Zur or whatever,
Yes.
and you go and you just hit them all with a snowball, and you just ruined like 5 people's next 10 seconds of their life.
Because it makes you so much slower when you're running around. But so it blows my mind that even works, because there's no other thing you can do in the tower that really affects other people, right? Like
Only
other
your
than
fire team, yeah.
Yeah, your fire team, exactly. So it's amazing that you can throw something and hit people with it in the. I don't know. It's cool that they made something like that work.
I mean, I guess it's kind of just like the balls that are around.
Yeah, it's like
anyone can kick.
stuff,
Yeah. But I mean, they're even useful like in PvE. Like they do a good bit of damage. They slow enemies. Like they're really cool, actually. I know it's like not really like quote unquote useful, and there's a lot of people that are like, oh, we have snowballs, why don't we have endgame? But like I like it. Like it's fun. Seriously,
Yeah, it's
you're
fun.
gonna tell me you haven't seen people who complained that like they put time
I'm
into
sure. No, that
snowballs?
doesn't surprise me at all. But
No, I've seen people complaining for sure, but I'm having fun too. I think this type of stuff is great and fun. I'm glad that they took the time to put it in.
I wasn't, exaggerating. This is the most fun I've had with D2 since like the first time through the story and it being brand new. Like there's stuff to do. There's fun things. Oh, I'm loving it. Like I played it hours. Yeah, every day this week I've played for at least 3 or 4 hours. I haven't done that in a long, long time.
I was really surprised with
get in
how
on
long
this.
Mayhem hooked me yesterday. I jumped on with Fatebringer and I think it was Wilson, Fate and Wilson, and then Pope Bear joined, and we played for like 6 hours.
Yeah,
like
I know,
straight
because you
Mayhem.
were supposed to invite me and you took my spot and never invited me.
Yeah,
And I stayed up so late waiting for an invite that I slept through my alarms and was late for work.
Oh, you're gonna throw that at me?
The Lord know why he was late to
That
work.
is terrible. But that just goes to show how fun Mayhem is. It's easy to just disregard Hove and throw him to the.
I don't think that has anything to do with Mayhem.
Yeah, you're right.
What's
No,
different
but
from Mayhem than last D1 Mayhem? Is
Nothing.
it just something different, or is just the freshness of something crazy?
so
being
power
in the
power
crystal?
ammo works. I think we didn't have power ammo the same that we did in D1, and so now power ammo just spawns all the time basically, and so everyone's running around with rockets, grenades, fusion rifles. Everyone's getting their supers really fast, and supers just work differently than in D1 too. There's I feel like there's a lot more roaming stuff.
Yeah.
And,
wait, Mayhem D1, I thought power ammo did drop a fair amount or heavy.
It did.
No, it does. Yeah, it just power ammo works different in this
Yeah,
game.
he's
is
saying
what
it didn't exist, Triton. Did you play D1?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I do think a lot of it is just the freshness. And actually, somebody asked a question. We'll get to that in our opinion of why it's so much fun. But
All right.
in community questions,
okay.
I don't want to steal their thunder. Well, I mean, it has to. We'll just get there.
Okay.
Hove is clearly
Take
the
it back
most
to Hove.
articulate person on the show. If you didn't already know. If we didn't already know. Good job, Hove.
I didn't misspeak. I was just going. Just forget it. Just
You're
wait.
right.
I don't know. We can't tell. I couldn't tell. Sorry.
Just that shade.
I know. What's the question?
Well, I have to see him in like a couple hours, so I have to go.
I can't ask the question now. It's not community questions time.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Well, isn't that your job? I don't.
Yeah, and I'm saying it's not time.
Okay. Well,
Marcus, is there something you're digging from the dawning?
Mayhem's probably the most. I'm glad they brought Heroic Strikes back. The one thing that bothers me about the Snowballs is I really wish they acted more like kind of like that Titan buff that you can get where they can punch something melting. No, what was it called?
Melting point. Or...
Melting point from the Sunbreaker?
Like that. Where it slowed enemies because they also said that like enemies are supposed to take more damage if you hit them with that, but it doesn't really do much. And I feel like that would help. Like, for heroic strikes are pretty quick to begin with, depending on the group that you're running with, but it would make that a lot more fun to just be able to melt people super fast by hit them with the snowball. And, you know, it'd make people use them because as of right now, like, I was running strikes yesterday and you get to the boss encounter and you don't really, like, the piles are around, but no one's ever using them for anything.
I think what they meant by the damage thing was like it and cause massive damage, like the snowballs do a lot of damage. Do they?
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to use them in heroic strikes yet. I've only used them like in the tower and stuff like that.
Yeah. They do a good bit of damage. You can take out a whole, like, somebody in chat said if there's, 3 or 4 scions that just spawned in or whatever and you throw it, it'll kill all of them.
What I love about when you throw it at a group, it also, like, not only does it kill all the people in the group, but it, like, stuns the one around them that, like, weren't in that direct blast radius, which is cool.
Was it like a little, like, grenade, pretty much?
But yeah.
Yeah, it's
like a rift grenade.
Yeah, you do the same throwing animation as Wrath of the Machine when you threw the charges. And it's just a little snowball and it hits shit and they blow up and they get all snowy and cold. And
I want to say it's similar to like a flashbang almost.
Kind of, yeah, because they kind of like
have that effect.
It was like what, a debuff too or something? Like it
no.
Well, it slows them down. And,
it slows them down.
And they kind of just staggers enemies, slows them down, and I don't want to say it blinds them, but they definitely don't like attack as quickly or anything. So.
What about the big guys? Does it affect all enemies?
Staggers bosses.
Yeah, it staggers
so you can,
bosses.
like,
Bosses? Wow. It's cool.
It's good, man. It's fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. That's the one thing I haven't done yet that I'm excited to jump in. I think just because Mayhem has sucked me in so hard. Like, I went through on every character and did the full Mayhem quest thing, on every alt character. And then I just keep playing.
Oh, soundbite.
Mayhem's been great though. I really like it. It still has that, like, I went in, I was like, I'm gonna be a Storm Trance, and my very first Storm Trance, I wiped the whole team, and after that I got Nova bombed like 14 times in a row, and I was like, well, time to play Nova Bomb.
Hey, speaking of,
okay,
that Nova Bomb glitch is a thing now.
Who cares?
And they're not gonna fix it.
Yeah, it's so weird. So Mana. Yeah, there's a Nova Bomb glitch where you can just basically, you have to, I think, be stationary. Like, you can't move once you start doing it, and you can just throw Nova Bombs forever. I haven't looked up how to do it, but you see people doing it. I've never lost a game because of it, because it's easy to, like, oh, they're doing it in that corner, just run around with golden gun or hammers or whatever, and it's fine.
So are people just, like, lobbing just a bunch of Nova Bombs, and they're just kind of wandering around the map?
It's crazy. It's terrible.
How do people find these things?
Well, the good thing though is it's Mayhem, so like you have a Nova Bomb every like 10 seconds anyway.
Supposed to be silly, I guess. Not really.
Exactly.
I don't really care.
My favorite thing about Mayhem so far is people forget. Apparently, people forgot what tether does, because you can go in as a Night Stalker and just wait around corners. And the second you hear someone pop a super, you just shoot your tether at the corner and wait for them to walk around and then kill them. And people just into tethers. They don't realize it.
They also forgot how to use guns in Mayhem, apparently, and they'll just run around and they'll just keep running until they have a super or a grenade or something, and you just shoot them.
I've been sniping.
They don't know how to use guns.
I've actually been sniping in Mayhem.
Yes. It's so fun to use different kinds of power weapon now that it's out and about everywhere.
It was so good. My first 2 shots, I sniped a golden gun. Very first shot of sniping since like the first week. And the next one I sniped a hammer, both out of their supers. And that was yesterday, like afternoon. I don't think I've killed anybody with a sniper since then. But first 2, I was yelling. I was like, I'm back. Like, I still got it.
Oh, he's back. Let's go. Super pumped.
Seriously, like, I was so excited.
Like, where is it?
That was the other thing. I streamed for like, listen to this. This is how you know. I
streamed
mostly Destiny. Maybe half and half. No, more Destiny. 6 hours yesterday. That's the longest stream I've had in months. And a lot of it was Destiny. So
yeah.
You know.
I had some good luck with snipers too. It's really fun now that you get power. Like I was saying before, now that power ammo's up all the time, it's letting me like, I was just using fusion rifles. And I was like, I kind of want to like try this other stuff because I can, because power ammo is there and I'll kill the guy with power and take his power ammo. And so I got a good shot off two Hove, and it was on someone who was Nova bombing. Mid Nova bomb just sniped him in the back of the head while he was in the air at the top of the map.
Oh, well, you shot him in the back. That's not
the
fair.
best feeling. No, from the side. Come on.
Now it's the side.
Here's a real world thing that it's not really real world at all. I don't know
What?
why I said that. But
We're about to get
you
real
know,
here.
as much as we I give Lego a hard time about stealing power ammo and special ammo back in D1. In all seriousness, I played so much Mayhem the last couple days, and it was just like anytime I wanted power ammo, there was one of them up. I went and got it. I played like 3 games with Lego before the podcast. I think I got power ammo once. I'm just saying. Anecdotal evidence, but Lego steals the power ammo.
I'm back. What can I say?
I'm just impressed.
Manny, you got to come back, man. Destiny's fun again. Seriously.
I do. Maybe this weekend I'll take a day and just do everything Destiny.
We'll take you through PUBG 1.0 and Destiny
Oh.
2: The Dawning. We'll
I'm
lead
down.
you. We'll lead you to the promised land.
I'm
It's Christmas
totally down.
weekend, and it's the busiest, most terrible weekend of my year.
Oh crap, that's right. It's right around. What is today? It's the 21st
First.
already.
First.
He's like thinking of presents right now. Wait, what have I forgotten?
Yeah, I need to start shopping tomorrow.
Marcus, what power ammo have you been using in Mayhem?
Shotguns mostly. I haven't.
Shotguns are
Man,
fun.
but see, I was one of those people that I still use snipers anyway. So like, I was never running around with a rocket launcher or even shotguns before Mayhem. I'm just using shotguns now because it's my highest level stuff, and that's what I decided I want to use.
Yeah.
But I like using snipers. I didn't ever get power ammo really, so when I got a chance to use it, I was like, well, I want to snipe, and then I would die immediately. So what are you gonna do?
I do think that there is a new grenade launcher that has become pretty popular.
I haven't gotten it. I'm sad.
Yeah,
I saw you rolling your eyes a lot during your stream every time you got killed with one.
I don't think I got killed by it. Everyone was complaining about it, and I never saw it.
That's weird because as soon as I looked at your screen, I saw you get killed by one, and you were like,
You were too busy playing without me. You weren't watching the stream. Get out of here.
No, but I got so many of them shot at me. That new Vice, the Colony grenade launcher, that just tracks you on the ground, and it's not that it's like impossible to get away from it, because if you're in the air, it doesn't hurt you, and so you just have to like be in the air. But the problem is for me, whenever I'm playing and I'm trying to stay alive, and someone grabs power ammo and they get that gun, they can kill. Like if they want to waste all their ammo on you, they're going to kill you. Because what they do is they pull the power ammo and they just shoot all 4 shots immediately at you. And no matter how long you're in the air, there's one of them left still just running around the ground that's gonna blow you up. It's infuriating. I can't do anything to get away from 4 shots of it. It'll find you.
Do they stay on the ground for quite a long time or something?
It's a while. Yeah.
Really?
I had someone shoot me across. What's the new Burning Shrine map? It's
Altar of Flame.
Altar of Flame. So yeah, that one, someone shot me from one side of that middle area to the other, and it was just like like that long, like seconds. I was like, holy crap, how long do these things go?
Man, I'm missing out. I really am. Now you guys are
Seriously,
making me want to play Destiny right now.
I'll probably be back in then this weekend.
I swear to you. I mean, even though we're on a Destiny podcast, we all talk outside of here for the most part, and I hadn't been playing all that much. I played when I had to, and I've been having so much fun. Listen, I did probably 12 times as many strikes this week as I had done in D2 previously, which means I did like 12. But
yeah, because you didn't play strikes in D2.
Seriously, I did. I think I did 3 Nightfalls. I did at least 6 heroics, couple regular. I've probably done 15 strikes this week.
Well, since we're talking about what we're like you doing Nightfalls and stuff, like you're after something doing those things. Have you all had any more Masterwork stuff drop for you guys?
I got the best one ever.
I knew you were gonna. I knew you had something to say, Hove. Just spit it out.
The Positive Outlook auto rifle that's like Uriel's style.
It has
better
kill clip.
It has. I'm getting there. It has slightly better stability, it has better range, and it has kill clip. And I got mine with +5 range. The range is like so close to the max of the bar. It is so gross. It is so good. I use it in everything.
What scope?
Everything.
What scope do you use on it? The range one?
The middle one. Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. And one thing that me and Dewey had been talking about that I don't know if people, maybe this is something that I'm just stupid and we didn't know, but unlike some of the things like persistence and some of the other things from like D1 that there was no visual representation, the Masterworks perks do show up in the stat bars.
Yes, I noticed that too this week. That's nice.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and I finally got enough Masterwork stuff to dismantle enough of that. I haven't gotten any Masterwork thing to drop that I actually want yet, but I got enough of them to dismantle, and finally get my Antiope to have it. And first thing, put it on it, it has range on it now. So feels disgusting.
That's what happened to me. I got the Hotlanta, and then I got a couple Foggy Notions that were all Masterworks. And I just deleted all those. And then I got the Positive Outlook, and it had like reload speed, maybe. And I was planning on just waiting to get 10 cores and making a weapon, but I was like, oh, this looks good. Let me re-roll it. First re-roll, I got range. And I was like, yep, I'm done.
Nice. Yeah.
And I got some Pulse Rifle, too, that's really good. But I don't know.
I'm really tempted to re-roll the Antiope just to get to get more reload speed for the kill clip on it. But, I mean, having range is just always nice, always. There is one other weapon that I got that I wanted to bring up, and that is, have y'all tried the new Trial Scout Pulse Rifle? It's fully auto, and it is beautiful. If you guys have not had that drop yet, it's like it feels like Grasp of Malik did in D1. Like it feels like that, and it's incredible.
Actually, I've only went flawless once since the update, and I got a barrage of weapons and just kind of left it there because I was still abusing the Prometheus lens. I'm gonna see what I got.
You need to check to see if you have it. I need
Darkest Before attack, like the Pulse Rifle.
I think new Pulse Rifle. That's it, dude.
And that's what I got.
You got to try it out, man. It feels
a good time.
Good with that full auto. Like I've seen people get hate messages like your gun is stupid, like it fires way too fast because it's full auto, so you don't have to time the shots right. It just shoots as fast as what's the Iron Banner Pulse Rifle that everybody loved? It's
Time War
Inspire. Yeah, that's the same. The one I got, I forget what it's called. I got a Masterworks, and it's the same, like real fast one.
And the reason that I love the Trials one is because it's full auto and it's pretty stable too, and so it just has that perfect rhythm. You don't have to time it right because it's so fast firing.
Your fingers aren't nimble enough.
Well, it's not that they're not nimble enough. I just can't ever get the timing right on them. And the Trials one just feels perfect. And it's energy, so it melts super. So in Mayhem, it's great right now, So anyone who's far away, they're doomed pretty much.
So how about the hand cannon, the new Trials hand cannon? I also got that one too.
Dude, that one is so interesting. You just have to try it out for yourself because it's one of the new hand cannon recoil patterns that goes straight vertical. And it's so weird to get used. Like I can't do it because it's too weird.
It's not even it's like backwards instead of vertical. It's like towards you.
Yeah, it's like backwards.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, the other Pulse Rifle I got was called Autumn Wind, and it's also real fast firing. I forget what Masterworks I got on it, but I was happy with it. And it's really good. I haven't compared it to the Trials one, but hopefully I get that this weekend. That would be cool. But it's really good. And then I have like a counterbalance mod on one thing, and then whatever, so it feels good.
Yeah, there's some fun stuff out there right now, and there's good some of the new Osiris stuff versus weapons you have to go for. I'm hearing the hand cannon is great. I just had that drop, so I haven't got to play with it too much yet.
The Null Calamity, the forge weapons that you like, the versus some of them.
I don't even know what this is.
Yeah, so it's the basically in the forge. The forge weapons that they're talking about, to get those you have to complete the verses, and that's like the objective thing that you have to complete, so that's why we keep saying verses.
Boogity in chat said the Null Calamity, Zen Moment, and almost no recoil. And I've heard that's really good.
Which one is that? The auto rifle? I've heard that one's good. Yeah.
Shocker, an auto rifle is good in D2, right? It's not as good as my Positive Outlook.
Oh my gosh.
With all of the range.
Marcus, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, Mana, you might not know about the Forge stuff because I realized to get that, you have to beat the Osiris story, then you have to do all the adventures on Mercury before any of that stuff even opens.
Right.
I have done that, and I've dabbled already in it. It's just after I did that, I got the Prometheus lens, and that was before they nerfed it. So then I just went off on a huge killing spree with that. Then they nerfed it, and then I haven't gone back. So
I also went back to something else this week that I hadn't done in a long time, and that was blink shotgunning. Since I had since shotgun ammo is all over the place, I was just like, let's just try it. I get so disoriented every time I blink because the radar goes away, but it's fun to just, when it does work, you feel so amazing. You're like, that's right. What now? Am I going to get any hate mail for this? No, because it's just one time. But
back in D1, didn't let it die.
This is the thing, man.
I still hate how long it takes to come back, but I do like that it's one of the few things that I feel like kind of creates a little bit of a skill gap, because to make it viable, you have to be more aware, ahead of time before you blink. Like, you can't just blink over a guy just to turn around, because if you don't look around first, there might be another guy to your right who just comes over like, what are you doing? You know?
It is difficult, yeah. There is something else that's really fun in Mayhem. There's so many things that you just got to think of. Like, don't just think about your super. If you're like jumping back into Destiny for Mayhem during the dawning, don't just think about your super recharging fast. Like, think about all your abilities that are like literally always up. Because as a hunter, you can dodge pretty much anytime you want to. And if you're if you're running with invisibility and you dodge every second, you're invisible all the time.
Yeah, there's a lot of invisible hunters running around.
Dude, going with a hunter with a sword into Mayhem is so much fun. You've got to try it. It's ridiculous.
Well, are making me want to, man.
I'm gonna say this probably 10 more times, but it's so good right now. It's all temporary stuff. There's still a lot to come. But
was
for
it 3
right
weeks
now,
worth of this?
Yeah, 3 weeks.
Well,
We're on.
It ends January 9th, so yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't even mean just Mayhem. Just like, these changes like Masterworks aren't gonna last forever. Not gonna make you grind forever. But I do think it's cool. It's funny to me that it's become almost what they wanted to get rid of from Destiny 1. Like, oh, this IS Luna, you have to get rifle barrel. I mean, anytime you put something random like on it like that, I know they made the perk pool very limited, but there's still going to be a best perk for every gun.
Right.
And so it's still kind of that I want to re-roll it, or I want to keep grinding to get...
I want to get that perfect roll.
I want to get that range on that positive outlook and be a god.
But I think the argument to be made, though, is it's not that they were trying to discourage there being these things on these guns. Like, maybe that's a part of it. I think the main thing was no one could ever... Like, it took them forever to play and get that perfect IS Luna. Whereas
definitely
now...
100% said that was a problem, because that's why they nerfed counterbalance, because it became the only perk people wanted on guns. That's why. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're right too, but I'm saying they definitely were against a perk being like, this is what you have to have.
Well, what I'm glad isn't happening though is I feel like the game is like really balanced in a place where you can kind of run whatever gun you want and still be successful. It might not be the ultimate best thing, but it's not the extreme gaps that it was in D1.
And I didn't mean that as a complaint. I meant that as like, I'm very happy to keep grinding for that one perk, that one weapon. Like, I love it. I wanted that. And
the fact that the grind is so good right now, it feels amazing that, I've been playing it so much the past like 2 or 3 weeks, like a lot more than I had been since Curse of Osiris dropped. Just in general, and now that the Dawning is here and Mayhem and stuff, even more. But now it's like, even playing all that much and even getting tons of loot, Mayhem gives you tons of freaking loot whenever
you get like 4 to 5 pieces of, and I've gotten at least one legendary every 3 games maybe.
Yeah,
but like you get like 4 or 5 things that even if they're blue and you dismantle them, that's weapon parts that you take to the gunsmith and you can get a Masterworks. Like, and the economy's coming together.
I still haven't I've only gotten one Masterworks I actually want. And I've gotten, and I've played that long, and that's a great grind to me. Like, I'm not disappointed by that. I'm like, that's great because I can dismantle the ones I don't want and I can make that perfect one I do. And I earned it. I spent the time to go for that specific thing that I want, and I got one now. And even though I put in that much time and only have one, that's very satisfying to me to get what I was going to go get, and instead of just all this stuff that I'm not going to use.
And like Boogity said in chat, and Strikes, you get an insane amount of loot too. It does the chest kind of blows up and there's glimmer and all kinds of stuff.
Dude, I love that stuff like actually flies out of it.
It kind of reminds me of, and this was something I was really happy, like I just talked about a couple weeks ago, at the end of like Strikes in Destiny 1, like Crota, if you would do hard mode first and you'd get like the right side, all the pictures would come up of all the things you got.
Oh yeah.
That's what like they're all blues and maybe a purple, maybe an exotic. It's not, what 3 raid weapons that I get, but it still feels good to have stuff pop up.
Yes, and
Feels
not
real
only
good.
that, but a lot of people are running those boons right now. There's a lot of different boons that they've added in, and I know some of them you can buy and stuff like that. I don't know exactly how.
And some of them work, and some of them don't.
Well, yeah, 3 of coins. But other than that, like I'm still like almost every game that finishes, I'm like, oh, I got this legendary, I got this exotic, I got this, shader, gift of shaders or whatever. Like there's just random stuff dropping, and I have to keep checking my inventory because after every Mayhem game, there's just so much loot. There's so much dropping. I played all 3 characters, probably like 6, 7 games on each character that I had on PS4. And at the end of every one of those 6 or 7 games, I had at least 2 legendaries, like an exotic, and 3 bright engrams and a dawning engram, like all lined up, ready to be turned in. I was like, holy crap, this is a ton of loot,
Well, now that we've kind of gone through a lot of the stuff we like and everything, we're gonna start with you, Marcus.
Okay.
Just in general, like what do you think with they've put in all these changes and kind of what do you think about the state of Destiny in general? Are you more optimistic about the future going forward after a lot of these changes, or are you still kind of just like, well, this is really neat, it's a Band-Aid, it's cool for now, or do these quick fixes like give you hope for the future? Are you happy with where things are going?
It's a little bit of both. There's a lot of things that need work, and a lot of stuff that they promise that is coming. So I'm really interested to see if we see stuff before the spring update, whatever that spring DLC, whatever that's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about, potential Masterworks armor, strike scoring, rank playlists, all this other stuff, So I would like to see. I think it's a good thing that they've done so far. I don't think the Dawning was a great event to handle it.
Agreed.
Because when you take the Dawning as a whole and you look at it, we got Mayhem, we got Snowballs, and
microtransactions.
I'm saying like in terms of what's gonna be lasting after this, we don't even know. Like Mayhem might not stick around. So I think it's a good start. Masterwork stuff is cool. I really wish that the perk pools weren't so limited as they are. They posted on their forum or help article or something recently that showed what weapons can get what perks.
Yeah.
And most primaries, energy or kinetic, can get basically anything. But the heavy weapons, snipers, for example, you can get stability, handling, or range, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it for snipers. Where it's like, well, I want magazine size or something like that. Stuff that would make some weapons a little more viable. Like there's a high impact triple tap sniper right now that if it got magazine and it bumped it from 4 in the mag to 5 in the mag, you could potentially get 6 shots out of that, and that would make it so much better than whatever you get now. And,
I think that's the reason they didn't do it. I was thinking about some of those things, and I was like, because their stability wasn't on, what was it, auto rifles? There's no stability perk, and I was like, that kind of makes sense because there's some auto rifles that you just wouldn't want to be that stable,
Yeah, I feel like they limited perks that didn't need to be there, and realistically, I mean, giving snipers magazine size, everyone's still going to choose a rocket launcher in PvE, right? And no one's ever going to choose a grenade launcher because they're not good. So, PvP, maybe?
Yeah, well, that's true.
Or you're using fighting line.
You can take a potato into PvP and be good with it, though. It's fine. So I think it's a good step in the right direction. I don't think it's like if the Dawning ends and this is what we're left with. Or they take what they've implemented it away, like Mayhem, for example. If that goes away and PvP goes back to what it was, Mayhem, like it's going to be boring again.
I brace yourself because I think that's what's going to happen as far as Mayhem goes.
I would actually like, and I think they have a couple ideas now that would be cool, which is, so they're rotating playlists that we assume they're going to bring back. Okay. Mayhem could be a part of that. But like, for example, with the Snowballs, why don't you have a snowball fight playlist where that's all it is? And snowballs do, 100% damage to kill a guardian.
Oh my gosh.
That would be fun.
You
haven't even thrown a snowball yet.
Or obviously they don't have the space to do it, but like they brought in ice hockey. So you could do like an ice hockey game mode. And this is all stuff that just reminds me of Halo and all the stuff that they'd had for custom games.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then, or Prometheus lens. They they bring a playlist in that buffs it back to what it was, and they just call it laser tag.
My
they
God.
just call it laser tag. That's the playlist that's rotating for the week. Like, I feel like
Yes.
they have a lot of ideas out there that now that they could potentially implement again. And so I think Dawning it's okay at best. It brought some good stuff back, but it's just a Band-Aid for now. So,
I mean, I guess I was a little too I guess vague. I didn't necessarily mean like the Dawning as an event, just kind of like everything that has kind of happened recently.
No, I
'cause
got you.
I think the thing that kind of like excited me the most is when they first announced, like, we know there's issues. Here's things we're going to look at. They're going to take a while, and had no timetable for anything. And then all of a sudden, a couple weeks later, they're like, okay, these are starts, but we're going to do this, 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 and this. And so far, they've all been really good. You know, for them to throw those things together, and I'm sure some of them, like, I still feel like Masterworks
was in the works.
Was kind of what Luke Smith was talking about, even if it's a half-baked version, before launch, about making your 10th Better Devils different. But it's still encouraging to me that they threw this stuff together so quickly, and there's things they're working on, and they want to update them. So I'm optimistic.
Well, what worries me about that, though, is so this is the time of year Bungie goes on radio silence for about a month, and they said they're not going to really address anything until January, and that's probably not going to be until mid-January. So the Dawning's probably going to be over for about a week before we get any new information about anything new potentially coming in. So that kind of worries me that we'll go back to stale.
Yeah, but I mean, if we're going to complain, if we're going to get to the point where we're going, oh, we're not going to hear anything for a week.
Well, we're not going to hear anything for a month.
Right. But I'm saying, like, once they're back, like, nothing's going to happen for a week or a couple weeks. Like, this is a game where, we're planning on playing for a couple years. Like, if we get to the point, and I'm not just saying you, this isn't a criticism of your point, but, like, if we get to the point where the community gets upset because we don't hear anything or see any changes for a week or 2 weeks, I think we're kind of fucked. Like,
no, I didn't mean it like that. I meant more like if they're like they come back from break or whatever, and they're like, okay, here's changes we're going to implement. This stuff's not going to come until mid-February, into February, beginning of March. And it's like, okay, well, now we're waiting another month and a half before anything good shows back up in this game. So that's what I would be worried about.
Yeah.
For me, if they do take away what they like, the playlist or whatever after the Dawning, it's going to be even worse.
Yeah, I think that's what Marcus is like really worried about, or at least concerned about. The thing for me that excites where I'm at with all this Hove is I feel like we seen Masterworks come so quickly, and them already talking about Masterwork versions of Armor that's going to come on top of this. And we would have gotten faction rally stuff before this, but they're reworking some of that, and so that's coming back. Iron Banner's coming back, and the way you're talking about rotating playlists, like maybe Rumble will come back as a weekly, like monthly, a week of the month type thing. And so if they had Mayhem 1 week, if they had Iron Banner 1 week, if they had Faction Rally 1 week, all these different events like rotating out, that would make the game so much more interesting to me to constantly have stuff coming in and out. And if we keep getting added Masterworks Armor, and then ranked playlists come soon, or private matches which they said they were looking at for early 2018. And so I just think there's so much in a row that we're on a really good drip feed right now of new kind of stuff for Destiny. And at the place that it was for the start of the game, I feel like it's really good right now as far as the future, especially sitting here playing Mayhem all the time. And hopefully, fingers crossed, Rumble coming soon too. That's my biggest hope, is that when Mayhem stops, that they introduce Rumble. Like, that would just be my mind would blow.
No, that's true. Like, I would explode.
I would.
I don't even know. I don't remember what I was gonna say now. I'm thinking about his head exploding. Like,
what about you? Where are you at with the way everything is right now?
Like I said, I know they're all small things. They're not things that are really gonna increase, the long-term longevity. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
That's good.
Long-term longevity of playing it. But like I said, I think they're all really good starts. I think it's really encouraging that they were done quickly. I do think that they've listened and kind of have a feel for what we want now as a community. And they're not out of the woods. And that's one of the things, anyone who, maybe if you don't listen to this podcast all the time, this is one of the more positive ones we've had in a while. Believe me, we still know the issues. It's just they've been harped on and beaten to death by everybody in the community, podcasts and everything, including us. So it just feels good to have something to be excited about, and you know, maybe I'm too excited about it, but that's what I do.
No.
I'm
I don't
like a
think
child.
so. No,
No, I'm like a
think
child.
So.
I'm like a child.
Well, I'm just saying, from the people that I've played with, like, I was playing with a group last night, and it was like everyone was like, you know, like people are complaining about some of this stuff, but I'm having so much fun right now.
Yeah.
Like it's just ridiculous fun, and especially Mayhem.
And kind of off topic, going to the Masterworks, but it made me think of this. We were talking. The more I think of Masterworks and how they work and everything, it's definitely kind of very similar to something we had talked about. I'm not saying they got it from us in any way, shape, or form, but it was an idea that I had one week, and then like the next week, Lego had that idea apparently after telling me my idea was stupid. But you remember we were talking about like maybe if you find 10 better devils and you delete 10 better devils, then you get a perk node to unlock and re-roll. And that's kind of, you know, similar if you get enough of these Masterworks weapons.
For Masterworks.
So, you know, that was something I thought would make me happy, and apparently Lego thought it was dumb until it made him happy. But now that it's happened, you know, that's
Did
good.
not go down like this.
Oh, that's
So what
exactly
you're
how
saying
it
is
went down.
it was your guys' idea first, and we should sue Bungie for
Yes.
copying.
Clearly. Man, there was something that I wanted to say about.
I mean, I
all
actually
of
think the
that.
time off they're about to experience is, you know, well, one, it's necessary around the holidays. I think that's good that they do that. But also they'll come back to like a ton of information, having a bunch of people maybe play their game during what will probably be a peak time for them, where people are at home and people have a bunch of free time. And like, you know, Marcus mentioned, he has some free time coming up, so he'll be able to devote a lot more time to the game to kind of see, here's the things that we're kind of, you know, as everyone mentioned, stepping into. So, you know, do people take advantage of these things? So obviously kind of the mini grind now that we have to go after the Masterworks, you know, and those types of things to look forward to, that's going to really appease the people who've been screaming the loudest. But if it doesn't drop any of the casual people, something that, you know, to Ho's point, we talk about quite a bit in terms of some of the viewpoints and things like that. If it doesn't drop a lot of those people, then I think it is a step in the right direction. And maybe, you know, to Marcus's point, maybe you expand the role pool at that point. Okay, this isn't such a bad thing. So maybe we can be a little bit more daring in this way, in the way they've implemented it, and not allowed something to just be useless. Like, right, like I chased that like perfect God roll IS Luna forever. And when you didn't get it, you just dismantled it. But there was no incentive to do it. There wasn't like, you know, you get some other type of material that could help you elsewhere, things like that. So kind of meeting in the middle for that, if it doesn't turn their larger audience off to it, I think we will see more things like that. And, you know, I think everyone seems to like the Snowball thing to some extent. So maybe we will get fun playlists. They will kind of push more of those creative ideas. Like something like, I know Overwatch did something like that with like May's Snowball event. Like last year, they had like a one hit, one kill type of just playlist like that. So maybe they will venture into it. So I think that's really important. I'm actually really excited to see what they come back with and what they see with that data information, because if they continue along this trend, I think, you know, to a lot of our points, I think it's definitely optimistic. And we can expect to see more and more and more as 2018 progresses.
I got one question with for y'all with the different types of playlists that we might see, like Triton was talking about. There is one that we didn't see, which is SRL not returning. Did you guys, were you any all disappointed by that, or are you like, I got Mayhem, like I'm cool?
I mean, I didn't play it all that much, but I also don't see why it needs to specifically be a dawning or a winter thing. Like, I know it was originally, right? But there's no real theme winter to it. Like, they can bring that out whenever, you know, maybe a real big content lull when they don't have anything planned. You know, at least we got some new stuff. I'm okay with it.
I have the worst matchmaking actually with SRL. Like,
No, you're just bad.
I'm so shitty at the game. Like when I play like regular like PvP, it doesn't matter. But when I play SRL, I actually like play people that are really good at other aspects of the game constantly. So it doesn't really matter. They didn't come back for me because I never could finish any of those quests. Like, and they're pretty reasonable, right?
Funny.
It was like finish the race, and it'd be like, oh man, that one's gonna be tough this time. So it doesn't really matter to me at all that it didn't come back. I'll play it when it comes back, but you know, it wasn't necessary for me to be interested in the dawning.
I haven't did anything in the Dawn yet, so I don't know.
Well, I was just even if you haven't played, man, I feel like did you enjoy SRL in D1, and are you like bummed to see it not come back right now this second?
It was kind of bad in D1 because Shiny Sir and I came off of a huge Mario Kart spree, and then jumping into Sparrow Racing League, it was like, this is boring as shit. where are the heat-seeking missiles or something? Like, I want to destroy people.
I mean, you bring up a good point though. That's how I feel about.
It was just a really bad timing because we literally no-lifed the last Mario Kart. Like, we completed almost everything, and then Sparrow Racing League came out. I was like, yeah, let's do it. And we're like, this is pretty bland now. But
I think the last iteration was the snow map, right? So to Ho's point, there wasn't like a lot of theme map. But I think the last iteration we have was that one snow map. The only interesting part of that was like the people that hit that forklift like right at the very end, and that could like make or break the race, right? That was like the only excitement was who's gonna hit that forklift.
I mean, that was definitely snow. It was a snow map, but I just mean SRL as an event wasn't like
right. Absolutely,
I like that thought though. That like it could come back anytime, and for those who want it. Or never, yeah. I mean, I just know there's some people who really enjoyed it, and I'm more on Mana's side. Like, this is a first-person shooter game, and that's nice. That's like a nicety you could throw in there.
It's a neat, thing.
Yeah,
it's just add on.
Thing, but it's nothing like Mario Kart, So,
I played a lot of that.
Yeah.
They could just take some notes off of Mario Kart. Well,
there's some weapons. Put some weapons on the Sparrows.
Yeah. There was amazing. This one game on the 360 that kind of was like Need for Speed meets Mario Kart, where you run through these like things, holograms, and you get these weapons. And it was really fun, Bungie, if you want to just copy a little bit from that, Dude, exotic sparrows that have just like a little rocket barrage coming out of their tailpipe.
Special SRL sparrows that are 2-seaters that one person shoots.
Oh, double dash.
That way it's still a Racing League double dash. Let's do it. I'll
totally be down. One person's a gunner, the other person is a driver. I'll totally be down.
Awesome, actually. That's a really good idea.
Even have 2 seats in them. You think they're going to give us sparrows?
And then even better though, have it trials. Literally trials carries. Jump on my back, room, let's get out of here.
Or the tank from the story mission.
I knew you were gonna bring out that tank.
The tank is awesome, and we never get to use it. If we had like huge. In Star Fox, you could have the tanks. Like what if we had? You could use those on a Crucible map. There is no Crucible map that could fit that right now, but that would be incredible.
That would be cool though. Big team, very large scale, everyone in a tank versus each other though. Please. I feel like that's not too much to ask for. Just the map design.
The map design's the only holdup. Yeah.
I actually went on my way to play that mission the other day because I mean, like most of us, I probably really don't want to play the story all the way through at all. But I had a friend that recently bought the game, and he texted me like, "Hey, can you help me with some story missions?" And I was like, "Well, what mission are you on?" And he was like, "The Road to Fury or whatever one that is." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'll definitely do that one."
Yeah,
I hopped up for like that one mission. I'm like, "Oh man, I don't know about these other ones."
That's what I've been thinking about. For Ikora has the missions that you can play over again, and I always like go in there and check just to see if that mission's on there because I'm like, I'll play that one again anytime.
Yeah.
Well, there is one other topic that's slightly on the negative side of things, and that is I wanted to ask you all about the Eververse stuff, because that is a big part of the Dawning. We have a lot of people like, well, too bad all the good rewards.
That's the only negative thing I've seen on Twitter about Dawning so far.
Yeah, so for me personally, I'll just go ahead and throw my opinion right off the bat. Like I see I think some of the complaints are valid about like most of the really interesting stuff being in Eververse for it. And it is, but there are lots of ways to get that stuff. Like I know Marcus was saying that the daily gifts like only have a limited loot pool, but I was also talking with Wilson about how he had done like one of Ikora's like redo the story missions, and it gave him like a chess piece or something like you can play. You can get some of that armor from other stuff I was hearing, which I don't know. Maybe like you can't get all of it from the Eververse stuff, but you also do get like I feel like a good bit of the Dawning stuff just playing the game. Is it enough though? Is it too much to complain about, or what are you guys' thoughts on everything? I'm kind of
it's bad.
Like it's bad Tell me, Hove, how bad is it?
It's microtransactions, and they're dumb. And we've been saying every time that they add a new thing that it's a slippery slope, and they're getting closer to this and closer to that, and they're there. Everything's in Eververse. That's the only place ghosts come from now, right?
Yeah.
Or
but-
just pimped out ones.
So
Yeah.
ghosts can drop from the engrams that you get from playing. Like you don't have to buy them.
Right, but it's still like a
It's still Eververse stuff, which is dumb.
yeah. And
Can you
it's-
get ghosts from the daily dawning thing? No.
Yes, but that's still technically, if you want to think about it, it's still technically Eververse because I want to say those ghosts are also available through her.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Everything that they give you, ghosts, sparrows, ships, all that stuff now is like, hey, you can get some, but check this one out. This one's really cool. Buy it. Like,
Yeah.
I remember D1 playing Strike playlists because that Strike playlist was the only place certain ships would drop
yeah,
and certain shaders would drop. So it was like, okay, I'm gonna go do this now, and it sucks that that's the case with Eververse. It's like, and certain things like the exotic ghosts, which see materials up to like twice as far away as well,
Really?
giving you experience buffs on like every planet. So like there's certain things that are tied to Eververse that you can't get anywhere else.
Mhm.
And so it's kind of pay to win if you think about it.
Yeah.
Like it may not benefit you, and
It's-
XP obviously doesn't mean anything after you hit max level, but like still it's something that like you are definitely at an advantage over someone who doesn't have it.
My
it's
problem
gone
is
too far.
just like it's not really pay to win. It's all cosmetic, but the bulk of the cosmetic like scenario in Destiny, there's not a lot of mix and match because what you wear has a fixed like perk, right? Like apart from D1, which you can keep on grinding whatever
Yeah.
like raid or whatever, and you can get mixed results, so you can get what you want. And if you want to pimp your guy out and what you want to, look like some glorious bastard, going around flaunting, hey, look at my, Dolce and Gabbana suit, but I have to go to Eververse in order to get it. I don't know, like,
Yeah.
I feel like there's not a lot of customization already in D2 for Eververse to be really that's what it's all about pretty much.
Yeah.
Like a money grab for swag.
Yeah, I think my biggest problem is just the same problem that I've had from the get-go of D1 is not getting certain things from certain places. Like you brought up the ghosts, so like ghost sparrows, like there's no trials sparrow or stuff like that, like trials ghosts that I get from, like I would like these things from these specific places rather than them just all be dumped into Eververse. It would be nice to be able to get those things in the game somehow. That's like my main thing, and I'm okay with some like really cool stuff in there. It's just that all the really cool stuff is in there.
I mean, it went from whenever Verse first started. I don't remember everything they had, but most of it was additional stuff, right? They started having emotes and these,
Or ghost.
Well, that was
Well,
once
even
we got
before
the
that,
Festival
yeah.
of the Cost. Yeah, just the original. Like it was emotes and stuff like that was extra stuff that they were adding in to Eververse.
Uh-huh.
They've now taken 3 staples of a loadout. Not guns, but 3 staples of your loadout, ghosts, ships, and sparrows, and said you can't get them anywhere but Eververse.
And shaders.
And then they
You
added the RNG to where you could possibly never get it, right?
Yeah.
That's, I think, is the worst part about it is I feel like they need to have the system that they were talking about. You know how the exotics, once you get an exotic, then like the chance of getting it again will decrease. Well, we don't know what the system is for Eververse. You can just keep on buying and buying and keep on getting everything you don't want. It's almost like the ghost scenario. So many people were trying to get that ghost,
See, and even that, as much as Festival of the Cost was bad and had a lot of issues, and the RNG was bad and spending the money and everything. At least that was extra stuff. You could get all the regular ghosts, but these silly ghosts you could only get from there. Now they've literally taken away Ghost Sparrow ships, which are things like Marcus said. People used to grind different things. They used to come from different places. They don't even have raid ships and raid sparrows and raid ghosts anymore. They were like, nope, you don't get any of that stuff anymore. Buy it.
Yeah.
That's
pretty
terrible. They took
Also,
things away from us.
Also, don't forget that them introducing seasons makes stuff even more limited because now everything that's available wasn't available 2 months ago, and it's not going to be available in 3 months.
Yep.
So it's like, if you don't get it now, And someone actually came out. I want to say Dado put out a video, but I saw the post on Reddit. I don't remember, but they came out and did the math. And if you wanted to just buy everything that the Dawning offered, it would cost you like $600 to just go out and buy all the armor, the exotic ghost shells, the exotic ships, everything, like $600. So, and one other thing to harp on is the daily gifts that you can get, because I think you can get shaders from that.
Mm-hmm.
You can also get shaders if someone on your fire team pops that boon that can give you Dawning stuff. It's just a Dawning boon, I think, but it gives you like shaders. So those shaders that you get are, and this has been a big controversy, if you dismantle those, they give you legendary shards. But if you get shaders from the Dawning engram,
you get bright dust.
Yeah, that you get for completing, the milestones, you get bright dust. And in your inventory, they are stacked differently. So even though the same shader with the same name, same icons and everything, they're stacked differently. So in a game with limited inventory space, now we're losing more by getting two of the same thing taking up spots.
Yeah.
And couple, a big time streamer had a great clip on Reddit recently freaking out about the fact that when you dismantle those shaders, you get 7 bright dust. So what is the reason for having 2 different stacks and having to separate the ones that you get from packages versus the ones that you get just by playing the game? It's a very funny clip.
Well, I think it's a compounding problem when you can, like what we talked about earlier, and one of the issues they had, before the Dawning, and to a degree still have, is you can get everything from everywhere. So when you have one instance where you can be anywhere and there's nothing really special from any one place, and then to everyone's point, there's only one place to get these items. It's certainly a compounding problem. And then also what's going on in gaming. I think when that just came off the Nightfall and the Raid Prestige issue, and then that whole like how XP would work, and they completely went away from that, and they kind of have this be something that maybe slips through in terms of its implementation, and that ends up what we're experiencing. I don't know. It's certainly it's not a great look in terms of all the things that they probably should have been learning from, and even seemed like they did within the last month or two. So I think it's more frustrating when it seems like they're not going to do it. That would be my take, is if you kind of think, oh, this isn't going to be the case, and then it turns out to be exactly what a lot of people have, vehemently complained against in other instances and other games and so forth. So,
yeah.
And, like Marcus was saying, the seasons, when they first announced that, and we had talked about it, I think most of us were pretty much for the idea of things resetting, different armor for different seasons. And, hey, I got this. It was exclusive to this 2 months, 3 months. I have it. But when it becomes, when you use that driving force of us being excited about getting exclusive stuff, when you use that against us to make us buy stuff, that's shitty.
Yeah, it works really good for faction stuff and for Iron Banner stuff, but not so good whenever, like Hope said, it's used against
your
us.
journey to be different than another Guardian everyone's journey shouldn't all start at Eververse.
Yeah, it shouldn't be how much extra.
That's the thing I was saying before. Like, you should not have to solely rely on spending money to get swagged up.
Yeah. How much extra money are you willing? I'm okay at the base level of having some microtransactions to get some random cosmetic stuff that's extra. But when it becomes like Triton was saying and Mana was saying, how much are you willing to spend to be different? That's stupid and ridiculous.
I feel like they should do how like Overwatch is. You can just spend whatever you want to get right there, like on the dot, like, or have like a reset timer, like every day, like Eververse, like you can get a couple things, just there's the option,
Yeah.
If you want it, boom, you get it. Like, how there's those items already you can buy using silver or whatever. They should just have the Dawning specific, just boom,
Yeah,
like,
and they did that.
Like
didn't they do that in D1 towards the end? There were like specific things you could actually buy, like emotes. They did it with emotes for sure.
Yeah, they did with emotes. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I feel like that should be fair. Just like have just a couple every now and then, just randomize, and like, oh, you can't get these items. Here are the options for a limited time. If you want to, there's the option. I feel like that'd be a nice little way of doing things.
For sure. Well, I didn't want to beat the Eververse thing too much because we talked about it a lot before. I just wanted to bring it up because it is such a big part of the dawning that people are talking about. And
I think it's a big deal. I mean, I think it's just as important as a lot of the things that were complained about, with Endgame and everything, and the loud voices in the community got them to come out and change things. I know a lot of it when you're talking money and everything is going to come from Activision and the publisher, and it's a totally different, thing, the end game and this, but it's something that, is important. And if everyone just shuts up and buys it or doesn't say anything about it, then it's just going to keep getting worse. Like I said, it went from extra stuff to, hey, we're not going to let you have this anymore unless you buy it.
Yeah, a loot game, the loot is important. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you all have anything else for the dawning? Because if we don't, we could just move to some community questions, some Twitch questions, anything that pops up.
I have one thing to say.
Yes.
All right, this has a little bit to do with the dawning. Why are you giggling already?
I was
just going to say, this is the opportunity to name this episode how Hove is inevitably 100% going to make his own podcast called Dongcast 76, and the dawning is now, we should name this episode The Donging.
Yeah, we definitely should. I mean,
I didn't see that one coming. I didn't see it coming.
Man, thank you. I'm proud of you. You've come a long way.
So what do you got, Hove? What do you got for us?
I got some community questions. We're going to start with Twitter. First one is from Triton, because apparently he wants to speak as little as possible, so he started asking questions on Twitter so he doesn't have to do it on the podcast. All right, so Triton said, Mana has 5 hats, 3 red and 2 purple. He has Hove, Lego, and Triton stand in a straight line looking forward. Starting with Triton, he puts a random hat on all of our heads, then hides the rest. He asks what color we have on, followed by silence after a few minutes. How does Hove know his hat color? And somebody responded with, because he's the smartest host, but I'll let you guys go.
That was I mean, I guess it's for everybody.
I'm going to need to think about this. I didn't read this question beforehand, and I'm just going to need some time to process it. So next week, on next week's podcast, I will answer this question.
No.
I kind of cheated. I looked up the riddle, so
let's see. I want to know the answer now. What is it? What unless Mana has a good guess. I don't know.
Well, Triton worded it really weird. So
it had to fit it in whatever characters.
Yeah.
You get like 700 characters on Twitter now.
What?
I'm just saying you get double the characters that you used to.
They're running out towards the end.
Oh, I see.
But basically, Hove knows which hat he's wearing by looking at the other two. So if they're both wearing the same color, he's probably wearing the opposite color. And if only one of them is wearing, so like, what'd you say, blue and purple?
Purple and red.
Purple and red, and Hove's in the front of the line.
Oh, so you have them lined up. See, the way I pictured it is they're standing next to each other, looking forward.
Me too.
Okay, so so I was asked that on an interview too. There's one where you all sit in basically a triangle, so you all face each other, and somebody draws any of 2 colored dots on your forehead. And if you see that dot, you have to keep your hand up, and then after a while, you should figure out what color dot you have on your forehead. So that's a variation of it, but I think this one was the line.
I don't like this.
It's Triton randomly texted me. I don't know if it's today. I think it's today. I'm getting my days mixed up, but he randomly texted me one of these riddles, and I was like, I can't think about this right now. I'm busy doing other things. I like put it down and like thought about it for a little while, and then like 3 hours later, I was like, okay, I think this is what it is, because I do like logic questions. It takes me so much time.
The answer is you have to make an inference. The biggest actual key in that is that there's silence in it. So the reason is triggered by the fact that the people behind you who have information don't know. So the very person in the back, who I guess in this example is me, would have known his color only under one situation. The only situation that I would have known for sure is if both you and Lego were wearing red hats, because there was only 2 of them, which would immediately allow me to, have a purple hat on. Because I said nothing, Lego, the second person, knows that I could not have seen 2 red hats. So I only could have seen one of 3 combinations. the opposite combination of purple and red, and then also seeing 2 purple hats. So because Lego says nothing, that means he looks at Hove's hat, and the only thing he can see is purple. So Hove has to wear one of the purple hats.
I need like a YouTube dado explanation of this someday,
Same.
so I can.
I still say Twitter.
Blew my mind.
Twitter broke this riddle because there wasn't enough characters to.
I agree.
Wait,
What's another question we have here now that you allowed that one to pass through?
We got that one done pretty quickly, I think.
Booker at Leadoff Man on Twitter. He was in here a little bit ago. This one's for Marcus. Do you always have a 5 o'clock shadow?
I never will go clean shaven again. I stopped doing it when I left retail, like 5 years ago.
Is this like a rebellious thing against retail?
No, it's just clean shaven me has a baby face, and I don't like it. So I prefer the scruff. So 5 o'clock shadow, yeah, sure, totally.
Very nice.
All right.
I like it.
Next question is from. I'm trying to figure
Mana.
out. Okay. Mana, the Manigator has responded to Triton's question and said, I'm reporting this question as inappropriate. Oh, now I'm lost. Okay, we have one from Wilson. Wilson would like to know. This is a good one, actually. With the Curse of Osiris expanding the story of a character we had heard so much about through Grimoire cards, are there any more Guardians from the lore that you would like to see their story told or expanded? And before we answer that question, there is one thing I want to say. We've talked before. Somebody asked a long time ago during D1 if we had to kill one of the Vanguard, who it would be. And I think we pretty much unanimously had picked Ikora just because she had the least story and personality. I think she's my favorite NPC in the game.
Really?
After Curse. Dude, she's so awesome. She's a badass. And did you see her open up that shit with her void shit?
That was
stuff?
pretty cool.
The void beams?
Yeah, dude.
Like,
She's
where
so
did those come out
badass.
from? Like, I want to know how to shoot void beams out
And
of my
at the
nipples or
end-
wherever they came from. I don't know, but
At the end,
like,
she says,
Definitely
you know,
never-
the help of this guardian who
That's
has a
what
habit
happened.
of making the impossible happen and someone I consider a friend. Now she's like all like,
Okay.
there's like a
That line
relationship.
bothered
She's
me.
Oh,
just
God.
a
Just
little bit.
everything.
I mean, come on. We don't even say a word to her, and she considers me a friend. Like, I don't know.
Triton doesn't
Consider-
say a word to us on the podcast half the time.
That's
and
true.
Sometimes
that you
consider
have a
him friend.
valid point.
that's because he's making up a really long and convoluted like message in
That
his
feels
head.
discriminatory to me. Like, what if you had somebody who was mute? Could they not be your friend because they've never spoken to you? Is this like when your favorite girl was white?
words. Okay. Let's say anybody have an answer for Wilson's original question here?
What was his question again?
All right, after
Lore.
Hope said, like, where's the void
lore.
like coming from, I got lost. So
Basically, now that we saw so much of Osiris, someone we'd heard so much about previously, what's another character from lore or story that you would like to hear about?
See, I don't know the ones that are like dead, so it'd have to be this weird, like, kind of resurrected story, I guess.
Well,
I mean, I think I haven't gotten to it yet. Here's my answer, and it's already in the game, so I'm excited to go play it. But Saint 14, I'm like,
Okay.
I was going to say, man.
I'm pretty pumped. I haven't gotten there yet because I'm holding on to, I think, the verse that gives me the storyline to it, or at least the quest that I know has something to do with it. I've seen so many pictures on Twitter now that I know it's coming. But I know there's something with Saint 14, and I haven't gotten to it yet. And I'm just holding on to the verse because I want to get as many of, I think it's my last one, and I'm trying to gather as many of those materials as I can. And I know once you don't have a verse, you can't gather any more of those materials. So I'm holding on to it just for that. But Saint 14 was always a character that interested me a lot with all his stuff that he'd gone through. So
Was it just because
That was going to be my answer too.
was it just because what?
He's a
a
Titan?
Titan? No, it's because, like, he had the big helmet and smashed people with it. So
Boogity would like you to know that finishing verse 10 gives you the quest. I know you don't read chat.
no, that's what I'm on. I'm on verse 10, so that's why.
Well, he's just confirming with you. He's being
No,
helpful,
nice.
Lego.
Good.
Just
I'm
because you
glad-
can't hear him because he can't speak to you does not mean he's worthless.
You're my friend. I promise.
I want to say my answer is Anna Bray.
Oh, that's a good one. Yes, I agree with that. I want to know more.
Marcus?
I like Wei Ning. I think she was the Titan that came out and was like, "What do you do?" Was she the Titan that came out and said something about the rocket being thrown at you, and she would just jump at it? Like, I think that was her, and she just badass. That or Alpha Loopy.
Yeah,
that'd be a good
that's
one.
good.
So it's me now?
Oh, I
try
thought you
North.
said. Sorry, I thought you said Saint 14 as well, Mana.
Oh, he took it. That was going to be mine.
Do you have another?
So maybe I want to know more about Cade and how his transformation, because he used to have a family and all that. He was a human, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the whole. I want to know why he became what he was right now.
There is a lot of stuff like that I'd like to see in cutscenes of. Like,
Yeah.
there was stuff that last week Anonpig was talking about with Ikora and Osiris's relationship. I would have really liked to have seen that on screen. Like, there's a lot of stuff like that I would just like fleshed out more.
I kind of
than
wish they did
more.
like these little mini movies like Overwatch
Yeah.
is kind of doing. I think that would
Yeah, those
be
are awesome.
really cool. Yeah,
That
each
would
of
be
those
cool.
have been really well done, and just they're small. They don't have a lot to it, but just enough to kind of feed your curiosity more about that character.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really cool if Bungie just out of the blue just came out. It was like, oh, we're going to make these like online, like maybe like Bungie.net miniseries on just
Maybe
characters
like a
more.
web comic.
Or yes,
Yeah, I was about to say that.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I'm
They
just
are
saying.
doing- yeah,
there's
I forgot about that.
potential there. Yeah.
I got a second one to add to mine. I know these aren't Guardians, but I'd love to still know more about Oryx's sisters, like just story.
I think that's
lines
coming.
of them.
I
I think
think
it's coming too, but I'm just so curious about all the Hive's lore.
Wait, Spiffy
Fire-
says more about Aphrodite. Where does she
I
go?
thought about
I
that
was
too,
gonna
but
say
she
Aphrodite maybe,
annoyed me
but-
too much.
Does she know you? Why?
Yes.
She only had like one line.
Did she? That's why she didn't talk
That's
enough.
why.
Oh, that's
she
why-
just comes in with all this sass, and you don't know where any of it comes from.
You know what?
And
I bet
she
you
just-
Is that
couldn't
her fault,
talk, and
though?
that was a recording, and that's why he's feeling hostility against her. He knew she couldn't talk.
You're a terrible, terrible person.
I mean, not
Apparently
a
I
person,
am.
but I'd like to know more about like the Omkara, however you pronounce it. I think that was probably one of the few
Omkara.
things in like any lore that I ever either tried to read a grimoire for, or like I think when you were on Venus, couldn't you in D1, couldn't you look up in the sky and like maybe see one?
Well, those
or people thought they
technically-
were, or
Yeah,
who
they
knows?
thought they were.
So that was probably the only thing like I ever like investigated within the game for lore. So I think learning about them would be kind of cool.
Another one that I know that like the Grimoire has a lot of the story, you know, as far as especially how it's connected to like Thorn and stuff, but a lot of the stuff with like Dredgen Yor and Jaren Ward and stuff is really cool.
And people have made some really cool YouTube videos off of those
Yeah.
lore. Like I know Bife has done some stuff, but there's some other people who have done some too that are really cool. I can't remember who all has created what, because that's probably one of the most popular
Yeah.
ones that stuff's been
really
created
cool.
for.
Yeah.
But it's really cool looking. Yeah.
All right, we have two more. I'm gonna save one for last. Next question, Handsome Dragon. He says, "Yo guys, a couple weeks after the DLC, how do you feel the sandbox is right now, and how much fun are you having in Mayhem this week? Do you think the community is showing it prefers more OP/ability heavy Crucible?"
See half an hour ago.
Would you say?
Let's see half an hour ago in this podcast.
Oh, well, I mean that's not talking the sandbox in general.
Yeah. So I think it's pretty balanced right now. I think, you know, if you want to argue like whether it's fun or not, that's one thing. But as far as the sandbox being balanced, I think it's really, really good. And I'm enjoying, you know, certain things that I feel like have fast, like still submachine guns, still that pulse rifle, still some scout rifles I enjoy. So I think it's great. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm having even more fun because of Mayhem, though. And I do think the casual experience and not caring so much about your loadout. Like I was saying, I was experimenting with a lot of different power weapons and a lot of different guns because it just kind of having a more chill, like everything is crazy, just lets you not really care what you're using. And so I think that's a great place to be, to not really be thinking about sweating your butt off every game is great. And if that means super, like a ton of supers going off every second that does that, then that's awesome. So
Yeah, I think it's, you know, it's not necessarily specifically that we want more super and ability heavy Crucible. I think the supers and the abilities were tuned to the point where they were okay. I just think it's even more of a change from current Crucible to Mayhem than it was from D1 Crucible to Mayhem, because it's so much faster and so much more fun, and it allows.
Yeah.
Somebody in chat said this earlier, and I've seen this everywhere. This isn't my, original thought, but it finally allows you to run off and do things on your own and kind of be a lone wolf, and you're able to get some kills because you have more power ammo, because you have supers, because you have all that stuff. And that was kind of the thing that's been missing so much, is that, like I think Wilson put it in chat, that everyone isn't running around holding each other's dicks.
True.
Nice, Wilson.
It's
Another reason why it's called the donging.
Yeah. Mana for the win. Anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, feeling powerful, feeling OP, that was part of what we talked about missing in Destiny 1 a lot. So I think, Hope pretty much sums it up pretty well there. So I think being able to go back to that is probably something that's pretty refreshing. And I think also the contrast on the speed of the game when it's Mayhem and how fast things move, I think kind of is such a contrast to what we have, that it's even more so than it was in Destiny 1. So.
Yeah.
Very
What was the original question? Am I up? Like,
I mean, it's pretty much, how do you, now that the DLC and these changes have been out, how do you feel about the sandbox? We already talked about Mayhem, and do you think the community is showing it prefers more OP/ability heavy Crucible?
it's like, well, I don't really have much experience to talk about it because I've really yet to experience much of it. But I just think it's a good mix up. Just throw something crazy and to mix up the whole. Everything's balanced concept. That's kind of everyone thinks is bland. So I think it's good for the game so far.
Yeah, spicing things up is always good. I don't like Hope said, I don't think it's just that it's all supers all the time. I think a lot of it has to do with just throwing something different into multiplayer and making people not sure exactly what to run, and so people are trying different things.
Anything from you, Marcus?
My only gripe is going from Mayhem to Strikes and being like, oh crap, I don't have my grenade back like instantly. That's
Yeah.
like I would love a little bit more
Mayhem Strikes.
Let's do it.
No,
Mayhem PvE.
they did Daybreak or whatever.
Oh,
I just
that's
think
right.
do it.
I think PvE needs just a little better tuning of ability cooldowns, and then it'll be good. But as far as weapons go, I mean, all the weapons feel good. I don't have an issue with any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see when they institute it, what Masterworks armor does.
Mm-hmm.
If it affects cooldowns, if it affects anything, well, what it affects, period. Because I think that'll be a good change to the PvE environment as well as PvP. So
Yeah.
I'm happy with where things are now. I think it'll be all right.
I think it's actually a cool idea. Like, even though when they introduced Daybreak or whatever it was kind of like a, hey, this is the end of D1, go all out. Why couldn't they make that a weekly thing too?
Yeah.
Bring
I
back
think that would be awesome.
Strike playlist that's like Mayhem, like Daybreak. That'd be
Well,
fun.
I wanted to throw in too, we were talking about super cooldown and stuff. I've had a lot of experience now that Masterworks has been out for just a little bit of them creating orbs on multi-kills, because on a submachine gun, it's happening all the time. I'm always getting multi-kills, and it feels so good to actually grab an orb that I created too.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just from other people. Like, you create orbs for yourself too. And so I feel like I have my super up a lot. Like, it's a good bit more now that people are using Masterworks.
Supers, yeah. I just like if Masterworks perk ideas that I think of going back to D1 would be like increased melee recharge rate or something, or increased melee energy by picking up an orb, something like that. Whereas, we're generating all these orbs and we're getting our super back real quick, but that's not necessarily the rest of our abilities. Like, we don't have our grenade or our melee or our class ability up as fast
We'll get good.
as our super.
We ready for the last question?
Hit us.
This one is from Mr. McDewerson. He came into chat and let me know that he put this late question there to make sure it got asked. It's specifically for Marcus. He wants to know, how does it feel to be interviewed by your dad? Marcus
For those listening, Marcus has just left. He just left the podcast. He's gone.
Anyone who doesn't already know, there's a running joke that I am Marcus's
amazing.
father. I have no idea how it started, but generally,
Sorry.
anytime we
I
play
got
games,
disconnected. I don't know
yeah,
what
that was
happened.
weird. You kind of like stared with a smirk on your face and then disappeared.
So weird.
Dewey's
I don't
in
know.
chat and he said, "Oh, you're having tech problems." So no one's really sure how it started, but like any scenario where it's even possible, like, oh look, Hove and Marcus both had the same amount of kills in Overwatch. It's a family thing, you know, every time, and he hates it, and I love it. So
That's awesome.
you're welcome.
You're not my real dad.
The best
Well,
part
guys.
is the first time we had them on, I said something to him about bringing it up, and he said he would leave, and I said, "No, you won't. You won't leave in the middle of the podcast." Well,
He proved you wrong, Dad.
so you're always you make me more proud every day, son.
This is
Gonna
so
bring a tear to
touching.
his eye.
This is so touching. Family talks in the donging episode.
They say we're not a
no.
family show. Look at us. Well, thank you everyone for coming out this week to RezoCast episode 65. Really enjoyed having Marcus on here to hang out with us. This has been Lego, aka Lego Le Flash. You can find me at Lego LA Flash on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Hove, where can they find you, man?
All the same places except YouTube for now, because I don't do it. But Twitter and Twitch. I streamed for 6 hours yesterday. Back.
You can tell he's
I'm
out
back.
of voice.
So yeah, Twitter and Twitch. Hove76, HOV76. Triton Plus.
Yep, all the same places. Mostly like Hove, Twitter, not so much Twitch, and then even less YouTube. All under Triton, please. All one word. Please being PLZ.
You can find me mainly on Twitch, streaming anything except for Destiny right now. But eventually,
Come back.
and find me on Twitter. And eventually, I do want to do YouTube again, but even probably less than YouTube than these past two guys at the Manigator.
Definitely not less than me.
Wait, how is it possible to go less than us? It's like
I don't know.
once a year.
I just
You would
wanna
have to
tell you
delete
guys
videos.
on bad things,
Delete.
because I actually was trying, and then I stopped immediately. Like, it's just flatlined it. How about you, Marcus?
You can find me on Twitter, MrTomFoolery with 2 Y's. I used to Twitch and stream. I don't do that anymore. I'm too
You
lazy.
say
It makes me
stop
sad.
fooling around.
Oh my god.
It's time to get your life together.
I learned it from watching you.
Oh. That's actually a really good point. Damn
Bad
it.
influence.
Damn it.
A parent who wants you to stream video games. Look at this. What are you doing with your life?
Oh my god, is he gonna pay me too?
Just
Yeah.
All right, sure.
Wait, what? That's-
well, you guys can also find RezoCast on Twitter at RezoCast. You can find us on iTunes, YouTube. If you're listening on iTunes, please leave a review if you enjoyed the show. We'd really appreciate it. And you can find Team Resolute at teamresolute.com and at Team Resolute on Twitter. Until next time, guys. GG.
GG.